Hey guys, welcome back to the Hdt Customs video, and today we'll be looking at this kit over here, which is the 100 scale Gundam Dynames. Okay, so why actually we are looking at this 100 scale Gundam Dynames is because that the Master Grade has actually just been launched, and there are already a few reviews online, so I can actually compare the Master Grade Gundam Dynames with the non-grade one to let you guys know if the Master Grade is actually worth buying or the non-grade is better. Alright, so let's just get started. Alright, so for the articulation, I don't think I will actually go to it because the articulations is quite similar to Gundam Exia and the rest of it. It's actually very similar, so I just skip through it. I just talk about the difference. Alright, so first of all, we will start from the head to the toes. Alright, so from the top, what I actually have to do masking and painting, which actually is the camera lens inside, which is blue and also silver ring, and then also the blue in the middle. The whole thing is actually a part of the inner frame. When you buy this kit, it comes with a sticker with that detail on, but as for me, I don't really like to use stickers, so I actually just paint the detail on. Alright, it's not really hard. Okay, and the next one was actually this red part at the V-fin. Alright, these two red parts of the V-fins are also stickers in the original kit, so I actually have to do masking and painting, and also these two green parts in the chin area. So yeah, I think that's all that you have to do masking and painting. The rest of it is actually is already in the details of the kit. Overall, yeah, this is actually how the kit looks like. As for my kit over here, you can see this sniper rifle. Right, the details are actually quite nice, but most of them actually I paint them in myself by using hand. And then if you can see, the stock over here is missing because I lost them. I have one long one and a short one. As for the Master Grade, the stock over here, the beginning part of the stock is actually the same, but the end part you can actually change it to the extended or the short mode. But for the non-grade, you have to change the whole stick, which is the long stick or the short stick. The whole thing you have to change it, right? So that's the difference about the non-grade. Alright, so now let's talk about a few other differences with the Master Grade. The Master Grade, there is actually missile pods on this what is called the skirt over here, and also the knee armor over here. As for the non-grade, there's nothing. There's not even a parts forming for that part. This whole thing, if you want, you have to actually customize and build it yourself. But as for me, I think the details are not really worth using or making, I guess. But that's just my opinion. I prefer the sniper rifle poses. Okay, and also you can see there's actually a huge seam line on top of this rifle. So I guess this is also another difference with the Master Grade. I think the Master Grade, there has also be some wedge part. There should be a seam line too, but I guess the seam line is not going to be that bad. I think the scope is a separate part for the Master Grade, and then maybe this silver part that I painted here is also should be different, and also the tip of the sniper rifle should be a separate part. So most of the seam lines could be avoided, I guess, on the Master Grade. If you guys are lazy to remove seam lines like me, I guess Master Grade is better. Alright, so the next part I'm going to go through is actually the gun. I mean the handguns. As you can see, the casing at the side here is actually very similar to the Master Grade. All you need to do is just flip it out, and the gun is inside, and then your Gundam can actually reach to it and then pull it out. Of course, you can actually do it more natural like this, but it will cover up the stock of it. So that's one. Of course, the gun, you can remove it, but as for mine, it's quite hard to remove because I actually paint it. Oh yeah, and also the casing over here, I actually made a two-tone. It's actually just two pieces of plastic combined together, and then I just mask it off and paint the silver and the gunmetal over here, right? But as for the Master Grade, it's actually comes two-tone, I mean two part of plastics. Alright, okay, so let's go to the handgun over here. So as you can see, the handgun is actually quite detailed. As you can see, the handgun over here is actually quite detailed, right? But actually it's just a two piece of plastic, front and back sandwiched together. As you can see the seam line over here, yeah, this is actually just a two-piece plastic, right? If you want to add all these details, you have to do masking and paint them yourself, right? But it's actually possible to go as crazy as possible, as much of colors as you want. But for me, I'll try to make it simple but not too simple, right? You can see there is actually two-tone silver on the top and a gunmetal on the bottom, right? So I actually have some variation of colors here, so it doesn't look so boring. And also you can drill a hole in the what's it called, the top of the gun over here, to make it looks more realistic. And also the stickers, when you buy the kit, you can actually put the sticker over here, right? So that's about it. Of course, you can, there is actually two of these handguns, you can dual wield it as you wish. Alright, so the next part I'm going to go through is actually the shields. The shield that comes with this kit. This is actually where my concern starts with the master grade. I'm not really sure what kind of difference there is for the master grade and also the non-grade, because most of the reviewers I see online, they didn't, actually all of the reviewers I see online, I didn't see any of them address the weight issue of the shoulders, right? As for mine, because this is a kit that I bought 10 years ago, where Gundam 00 just launched. So I mean, just was playing. So this actually is my first ever 100 scale Gundam kit that I ever bought, right, back in college days. So yes, so it's a very, very old kit. So all my polycaps actually has been hardened, and a lot of parts keep sagging. So I have to put this kit on the stand to make it look cool, and certain parts I need to glue it in. Example, some of the elbow joints over here, I actually glue them in because it is just way too flimsy, right? But even that, as you know, the shield is actually very huge, it's heavy. But as for the non-grade, it is actually just 3 pieces of plastic, 1, 2, 3, and also there is this 2 more smaller piece inside to hold these 3 pieces together, right? So it's actually just a very simple design, I guess, for this, which you can actually articulate it whatever way you want, right? But as for the master grade, it's actually quite similar, but there is actually another piece inside the armor. So instead of 3, it's supposed to be, I think, 6. But the mechanism that is holding it, I am not really sure. And I think some of the details over here are actually also separate parts that would add in some weight, right? So as for the attachment, is actually quite similar with the non-grade, if you ask me, right? As for videos, actually I can see it's just this, it's the same. So once I put this armor part on, it starts sagging, right? You can see this back leg, it starts swooping to the back, and it's getting harder to stand. As you can see, the shoulder over here is actually sagging down, right? Of course, I would prefer it to open up like this, which looks like a wing of some sort, right? It's actually one of my favorite poses, which is the shoulders facing upwards. I think it's called the Katoki style, I guess, not really sure. But yeah, I really like this kind of pose, but it won't stay long, right? So any of you guys have the master grade Dynames, maybe you guys can share some of your insight on the weight on the shoulders. Okay, please let me know, how does the shoulder actually affect the weight, and also how does the mechanism looks like. Will it be sagging over time? As for mine, when I bought it brand new, it is not sagging too, but after maybe 3 or 4 years, the joints is just terrible, right? I can't really pose this thing much anymore, and I'm actually considering gluing it on a fixed pose, which is pretty sad, right? Okay, so let's go to the final thing that I want to say about in this video, is that most of the reviewers that I saw, they actually said that there is actually a runner core GN frames in the box, right? So GN frame doesn't mean that it's just supposed to be for the Gundam Dynames. It's actually for a lot of GN stuff, which is the Gundam 00 kits, which is the Gundam Dynames, the Axia, the Virtue, the Curios, and even the second season, the Churidim, the what's it called, the 00 Riser, and so on and so forth, right? The Gundam Aerials and etc. Right? And I think also I think it could branch out even to the Gundam Thrones, if I'm not mistaken. It might also branch out to Gundam Thrones. We might not know, but as per the videos that I saw online, most of the frame parts are actually quite pre-built or designed for the Dynames. As you can see, the shoulder over here, there is this inner frame looking thingy poking out, and also the knee part, right? And then also the opening gimmick on the waist section, which is, I think, is built mainly for this kit over here. I don't think any other Gundam 00 kits will actually use those parts. I guess maybe it's going to be just a spare part that is going to be thrown away, or either what, I'm not really sure. It's quite weird. And then if let's say you would say the Gundam Virtue, the Gundam Virtue is actually a it's somewhat of a transforming kit. It's actually supposed to be smaller than the Dynames, because inside of the Virtue is actually another Gundam, which is called the Gundam Nadale, right? So the Nadale is actually slightly smaller and slimmer compared to the rest of the main suits, because there is going to be an outer armor for it, right? So I do not know how does that armor, I mean the frame, going to be used for the Gundam Nadale. And then also for the Gundam Curios, the Curios is going to be a transformable mobile suit, so I guess the leg parts and stuff is going to be very, very different, right? So seriously, I don't really know how they're going to pull this off, unless there's going to be a lot of leftover parts from the runners. Maybe they just use some joint parts and hand parts and stuff like that. It's going to be the same, but most of the parts are going to be different. And for the season 2, let's say the Churidim, for example, the GN drives is no longer on the chest, it's going to be on the butt over there, at the back skirt, right? And another thing I would say about this kit, I mean non-grade kit, is that you're losing out the LED thingy, right? There is no clear part that is leading to it, unless you buy the season 2 ones, which is the Gundam Churidim, which I also have. The non-grade one, actually I did a custom LED work for the head. So it's actually quite, I think it's quite easy. You don't really need to buy the Bandai ones, right? This is just my opinion, right? So please give me a like, leave down in the comments below what do you guys think about the non-grade versus the master grade. Alright, I would like to see you guys, give me some feedback. If you guys already built the master grade, how good is it or how bad is it? Maybe for now the joints are good. Maybe you can just update me later on the shoulder joints. Is it good enough? Will it sag over time like mine over here? Alright, so that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys again next time. Good day, guys.